This podcast was recorded on June 16th, 2022. Hello, ladies, gentlemen, and people outside the binary. Broken Class is back in session. I'm your discussion leader, Thomas Huda. Today I have a really exciting pair of guests here. I don't often do it like this, but I felt like it would be an awesome time to have an overdue chat with both of these gentlemen at the same time. M5 Vibe,
yes.
Amazing hip-hop artist in our community, and Treylon Day, I would have to say founder and CEO, right, of Dayinthelife Entertainment.
Yes, sir. You got that.
Excellent. So out here promoting opportunities for people to come get down and enjoy shows, and also for artists to show out and do their thing. So these are really two excellent people here. You guys are going to get a lot of wisdom from, and probably will have some fun too.
Sure.
And on that note, what is a controversial opinion that you guys have about anything? I think we need to go with M5 first.
All right.
Because he's the most nervous about it.
Yeah, it's very controversial. I'm going to get a lot of hate from this. I might get canceled for this.
Oh.
But Android is better than iPhone.
Oh.
Well,
Okay.
then. So I don't know if you've ever, SMS someone a video. That shit look trash. That shit looks trash.
Hold on. Because Mac has such a grip on the game. I'm not trying to get sucked into that black hole. I'm not trying to get sucked into them. And granted, yes, they have some features that I wish Android would have.
Right.
But it's just my personal opinion. That's what it comes down to. I
think
don't like iPhones.
Yeah. Okay. Literally being filmed by one right now. We'll just black you out of the video.
No,
he doesn't like the phone, so we're not gonna fucking.
It's gonna glitch. It's gonna glitch this whole thing, and then we're gonna do it all over again.
Yeah. Just blow up in your face. No, I can appreciate the decentralization of Android, where a lot of companies can make phones.
Right.
That just makes sense. Yeah, I don't like monopolies.
Right.
It just happens to be that Apple just makes a product that is like. They figured out how to make the shit that your grandma can use, but your 13-year-old cousin can use, and everywhere in between.
And that would make you go bankrupt. And
I'm gonna keep it 100. Yeah, these iPhone prices. I'm just like, man,
and accessories,
man, because you got to keep it going. You want the AirPods, you know what I'm saying? You might want, the watch to go with it. So it's like you got car notes, rent. Life insurance policies going on there. You're
gonna turn into an Apple.
He said you're gonna turn into an Apple.
You're not wrong.
I just, me growing up, it was just like the hype around the iPhone. Everybody wanted it. You know what I'm saying? Just like when I was growing up and everybody wanted certain Jordans. I'm just like, I want to stand out. So that's why I wear different shoes, or, I would go about it a different way in different styles. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like with Android and iPhone, I get an iPhone and an Android. Like I get an Android for all my family folks, and then get the iPhone for all my business stuff, just so I can stand out. Like, oh, y'all versus? I got both of them. Now what? Like, you know what I mean?
It makes sense to have dexterity in both of those because I feel like part of the reason there's this Android versus iPhone cult of mentality is that you're kind of locked in once you get it, because you become so comfortable. It's like a personal,
it's a team.
Personal assistant is this device here.
Yeah.
I think that's what happened to me. I caught on late. To be honest with you, I caught on late to the iPhones. I already had an Android, and I had iPods or whatever. It's like I was like, I already have an iPod. I don't want to get an iPhone. It's too much Apple. You know what I'm saying? So and then after that, like you said, I just became comfortable with Android, and now everything is turning into Apple. Everything Apple. So I'm like, I'm still not switching over though.
Yeah. Well, I think it is also, and I'm looking forward to getting to Treylon's thing too. Controversial opinion, but with phones in general, and with our increasing reliance on these devices that they mine these rare earth metals, right? And it sucks that Apple's product is expensive because of price gouging. All these products are expensive because of price gouging. We should be willing to pay a premium price for a product if the whole supply chain was fair. But the sad reality is we've got children in developed countries with no labor rights mining these cobalt and lithium and these rare earth metals. So
what I would wish, like, honestly, I mean, it might be generic. People might think it's generic, but I wish that just everybody has somewhat, like, you choose the size of your phone, whatnot, but interchangeable parts, so you're not giving your phone back, and they're making new phones, or just building new upgradable parts.
Right.
You're an enemy to capitalism when you say that, though. You know, I mean, the planned obsolescence model. It's like they literally have been caught so many times. Not only did they invent their own screw called the pentalobe screw that is like, well, you got to have our special screwdriver to open it up and flip the battery out, but also been caught saying, yeah, we're slowing down our older devices so they don't work as fast.
You must get my upgrade.
I know. It's it's sad.
You got to pay the toll to enter. You know what I'm saying? Each level you go, you got to pay a toll. You know what I mean?
I know.
What we own, iPhone what?
And it lines out the block anytime they release a new fucking, even if it's like the little SE alternate fucking different color. We got product red out now. It's like, I don't give a shit.
Yeah, just like with the game consoles. I mean, what we gonna have an Xbox 720, a 1080, like, you know what I mean? So it's gonna keep going.
But
You
that's
got
what
to
they
keep
get
getting
you.
upgrade.
They get you when you're young. They gotta get you addicted to whatever product they're gonna be selling you for the rest of your life.
Yeah,
That's actually something my dad was pissed about. Coming to our schools, he would see in the computer labs was all Macs, those big Macs with the big see-through color plastic in the
I
back.
remember those.
Yeah, because he was like they're doing exactly that. They're like they went after the schools, they cornered the market on the schools, and so now they're gonna have everybody using Apple products in 10, 15 years. Thomas, I'm like, well, now he passed away last year, so rest in peace, man.
Rest in peace,
You
man.
was right.
yeah. Rest in peace, man. For real.
Yeah. Anyway, Mr. Day.
Oh, controversial topic. Oh man, bro, appreciate you, sir. Nature getting to me, man. Hold on now.
For the
Nature
audio
getting to
listeners,
me.
5
Appreciate
just
you.
flicked a bug out of Day's hair.
You feel me? Like, man, that's
No.
that's true stuff. I appreciate
Yeah,
that.
he
brother.
was one with nature. He's like,
Yeah,
man, let me holler at Day real quick.
He's telling me
He's
how
always
that
trying to
day
listen.
real quick. But a controversial topic. I would have to say, like, when people be like, fuck the middleman. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I feel like, with a lot of endeavors, business, you know what I'm saying, having someone in your corner, as a representative, a person who can be able to talk for you when you're not that type of person, or you're not able to, in terms of time that you have available. I think that having somebody in your corner is just valuable. 2 heads are better than one type of deal. And I feel like the narrative right now, we see a lot of people saying, I want to be by myself, for myself, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to get it for me and fuck everybody else. But, in all reality, you can't get to your ultimate goal by yourself. You're going to need some type of assistance. So, trying to have somebody on your side, or having somebody that you can just reach out to as a resource, you know what I'm saying, is always valuable.
Hey, man, I totally can appreciate that, and your experience knowing the value that you have brought, and also the people in your field have brought to communities. It's kind of funny when you talk about that, the middleman, the person connecting people. The most relevant thing I can think of to connect with it is, have you seen the movie Office Space?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Smash your computers and stuff.
Yeah. Shout out to my video, It Ain't Nothing, from 2014. We recreated the printer smash in a field.
Oh, dope.
Say less.
It was
Shout
Check
out.
that out.
I have to send that to you guys. That's probably my best made video. And until this new shit drops, Meal Prep with Simone Bound, Octavius Media. We
Shout
got a
out
video.
Octavius Media.
We've
man,
had a
for
video
real.
in the can for months and months, and I'm just excited to drop it.
That's
Word,
what's up,
yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Congrats.
So with Office Space, you guys, I don't know if you remember this one character. I don't remember his name. I think it was Wachowski or something. Big guy. He's the guy who gets the big disability settlement because he gets hit by a car or whatever. And but when they bring in these consultants to the Initech business, they bring in the Bobs. Everyone has to meet with the Bobs to see if they can keep their job, right? And so the Bobs are trying to figure out what Wachowski does, right? And he's like, because they're like, so you take the forms from the IT people and you bring them to the sales people. Why couldn't we just have the IT people bring them to the salespeople themselves? And he says, because they're not people skills. They don't have people skills. I have people skills. What the hell is wrong with you people?
Come on now.
And but that's real. That's real. Some people have a personality where they can connect, and I can tell, Trey, because of the way you built a relationship with me, with other people I know. off of just a few interactions, really.
Right.
Is that you have the ability to connect with anybody, any kind of personality, see what they're about, what they want to do, and how to connect them with other resources and opportunities.
I appreciate that because again, you know, not everybody's social. You know, we have a lot of people who have anxieties, you know what I'm saying, PTSDs, and you know, I feel like with those people, they don't have those opportunities showing up a lot more, or they devalue themselves or put themselves in a box where it's like, you know, I can't move to the next level because I'm always, you know, going through this hump where it's like I can't do that because I'm scared or nervous or, you know, whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like just, you know, it doesn't have to be me personally, but anybody, you know, always reach out to somebody in your corner that can be able to assist you when needed. You know what I'm saying? And whatever that.
Yeah, everybody has their strong suits.
For sure.
Basically, yeah.
For sure.
And weaknesses, and that's what somebody's strong in, you might be weak in, and that interaction, you know, is needed. I think, yeah, just like some people like just good, like saying good with people, Some people go with business. Some people like creative, and sometimes that does not intermix with the same individual. But then also, like, I already know that scammers be out there. I think that's what kind of jaded me a lot. That's what jaded me a lot from working outside of the people I normally work out, because like I've been scammed before,
and that's real.
Yeah, so it's like, so whenever somebody comes with me to a proposition, I'm like, I don't know if I can trust you, and then that just keeps building up till it's like, nah, I don't want to work with you.
And that's real.
I've known people in this community. For a guy, I don't feel I need to drop his name, but you know, he was working with Gift of Gab, R.I.P. from Blackalicious.
Yeah, rest in peace.
Amazing
for sure.
MC. And basically, Gab, you know, was never a very digitally savvy guy. So this other guy was like kind of handling everything and saying, "Oh, I can help you with features and putting collaborations together," and telling people, give me 500 right now, and then 500 later, we'll get you a Gab verse, and then shit fell through, you know, on so many occasions.
Oh, wow.
And did that guy view himself as a scammer? Probably not. A lot of narcissists, a lot of people, they don't view themselves as the ones who are out there snaking.
It's like, it's your fault. You should have hit me up twice as much as you already hit me up. You know, which was already hundreds of phone calls.
But that goes back to what I was just saying. Like, you know, there are a lot of people who have tainted people to where they don't even want to trust them. You know what I mean? And that's why we have that narrative why people are like, I'm doing it by myself. I don't need no team, because, you know, once you go through so many of those interactions, it's a wrap.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You ain't going to put yourself out there to get in the team.
It's like 3 strikes you're out, or maybe even 2.
For
it's
sure.
Like if you do me wrong enough once or twice on a bad enough level, we're not fucking with each other.
For sure.
Marcus, you have made... When I hear like that you have only been doing music since when?
I dropped my first single 2018.
2018.
Yep.
So less than 5 years, gentlemen and ladies, and you know my intro. Everybody. Yo, I am very impressed with the quality of the music. We met once it was called Game Pub. Now it's called or Shoryuken League, and then Game Pub, and now it's the old John Henry's location. You might not even remember, but we met at that bar, and
The video games?
Yes. Yeah, the video game bar.
Yeah. That place is dope. I love and they have the best French fries. Shout out them. Some of the best French fries in the city.
Woof. Nice. And we were talking a little bit, and you showed me your Instagram, and you and I think held a phone up to my ear and was showing me your music, because, you know, we both do hip hop, and I could see a lot of positive, but I could also see a lot of like the roughness to the mix. First, especially the mix, the delivery, which is now one of your absolute strong suits, in my opinion. Both of those things, but the amount of movement that you've been able to make and the amount of ground you've been able to gain in our community, I just don't believe that you haven't been doing it as long as I believe you could have been doing it for 10 years.
Yeah.
And I guess my question, though, to not make it all just about like, ooh, he's so good, is you know, partnerships, and you've been able to see the value of the middleman through Trey. You've been able to see that community development. So how can you speak to what he's been able to do in your career, in your life?
Oh, just that. Like, first of all, the friendship. Like, we met. We met through another artist friend.
Yeah.
And little did I know that it would become this friendship. I didn't know at that time. Like, it's kind of crazy how things work out.
Yeah.
But same thing. I saw him, and what were you? you weren't doing any of this at the time, right?
No, so Dayinthelife Entertainment wasn't even a thought in my head at the time.
And also has popped off in just a few years, and it will continue to grow.
Appreciate that. Yeah, so at that time I was just going to LCC. My major was hospitality. I was going to try to become a chef, or kind of in the restaurant industry. And from there, our mutual friend, she was like, yeah, I got a couple friends out here, that do music and stuff like that. And then one day she just brought him over, and then I was like, oh, what's going on, man? He was like, yeah, I'm from Georgia, I'm from Vegas, and yeah, the rest is history, bro.
Yeah, and then just to see how I've grown, and then people see that, but then watching other people grow, and then in particular, Trey, watching him grow from that moment to like what it is right now, Dayinthelife Entertainment, and what he's creating is incredible. And like you say, he has that personality to connect with different folks, and that's amazing. I mean, I feel like I could do that too, but he does that on a whole different level.
Yeah,
so
I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that.
And
also bringing a wide range of characters into the fold. I feel you could be doing, helping Plato out with a show on some hippie hop shit.
Hey, shout out Plato, man. That's my guy right there, man.
You could be doing some, I don't know, some shit at the Big Dirty where it's fucking totally different turn up vibe.
For sure, man. And I like that, man. I like to just, grasp all genres, man, all type of experiences, all types of backgrounds, because, I'm from Vegas. It's just a big pot of different cultures, different races, and I love it, man. I love to just embrace different things. So, when I'm out here in Eugene, that's the type of vibe I want. I want to just mingle with everybody, connect to everybody, because again, it's a small town. Yeah. But it ain't small when everybody can be able to work with each other.
Yeah, and then I've seen him saying from the small coffee shop gigs, if you will, to shows did you promote for Ciroc and Slum Village?
Yes, I did.
And to big acts like that, to see, and then to know that, okay, Trey's doing his thing, and on top of that, he's soaking up all that knowledge of just from the artists who have not gained that popularity yet to the artists that have, and being able to learn all that in the process. I'm like, man, Trey, it's only gonna go up for Trey.
That's dope how you said that. Being able to have that perspective from somebody who's just starting out, and then somebody who's already solidified. That's the best part about what I do, because I can meet everybody where they at.
Well, another thing I feel could be an elephant in the room is okay, these major, bigger hip hop markets and bigger markets in general. In Detroit, you got the Shelter. You got built-in venues, places where everybody knows that the community is. In Eugene, Springfield, Lane County, hip hop has had to be nimble. Hip hop has had to be able to pervade spaces that.
For sure. Shout out everybody who's put in that work to get it in, for sure.
Especially Sean Kelly, and with Wildcraft, I see him really, really, really pulling for hip hop. One of the places I can really think about when I think about hip hop, I think about Wildcraft Cider, because I feel like he always pulls in hip hop acts,
preserving it, man.
That's the home for hip hop right now, is my feel. Because. Because I've lived here most of my life, and I would say 2012 to 2017, Lucky's was the place for hip hop, and they ultimately there was a monthly, there was a weekly there on Wednesdays, and it became called Second Nature, where it's just the second Monday of every month or something, and then eventually it dwindled to where. I don't see any hip hop happening out of there.
Was it hip hop shows, or was it an open mic, or what was it, a just dance?
That's interesting. You said Lucky's. I'm like, man,
I'm thinking now
isn't
too,
that funny?
Yeah, I'm like, wow.
Yes, no, that's some of my first earliest performances were there, and that was kind of the place that would book hip hop. And so with the weeklies they would do, they had a little bit of built-in crowd. It would always have open mic cypher kind of vibe at the end, but touring acts, these mid-level touring acts. Open Mike Eagle came through, and played there. A bunch of people, I can't remember. I mean, this guy Task One, who he would have been huge off Team Backpack. Turned out he was biting 60 or 70% of his bars. It was crazy. But he would have been huge, man. He was already. He would have been. Everybody thought it was tight. This guy's so tight. He's tight. He's as tight as fucking. Man, he was stealing from he had the audacity to steal from people that were legends in the underground, and that he thought if I pull from their early album or some shit, no one's gonna know I'd get the whole verse.
Man. Can't be posing out here, man.
Yeah.
Can't be posing out here in the hip hop industry, man. Come on now.
Yeah, absolutely. Another thing that's helpful for what you present, what you guys both present to the world, is the merch game.
Oh man, love it.
That demonstrates the legitimacy of the hustle, the grind, having enough revenue to print those beautiful shirts with Julian's face and Mark's face and your face. And
yes, sir. Shout out Lola
Shout
Buckwald,
out
Paint the
Julian
Beat.
Outlaw,
You know what I'm saying?
man.
That whole series, man, that was a dope venture that we did for sure.
All right, speaking of merch, which was grateful everybody who's picked up my merch. But I think going back to something that's controversial, and I don't think it's really that controversial, but like it took me a long time to even want to do shirts because I just understand like it's just, to me, it's just waste. Like, it's like what? And I was really trying to rack my brain up of how to economically or economically really create merch that's not really impacting the environment. Granted, and I don't know. I was still trying to, but at the time I was like, no, I need to have something to begin with and then figure it out from there. And I was looking at people who did was hemp shirts. I'm like, okay, hemp, like you throw that stuff away, biodegradable. So people who do hemp, but that's so expensive to really do merch with hemp. Yeah. So I'm still thinking about that. You know what I'm saying? But
awesome.
But yeah. It was killing me at the very beginning to really want to do that. When in my head, I was like, man, that's not really what I want to do, but that's the formula that's being made right now. So,
you know what though, I get that, but you know, putting something in someone's hand at a show is how they remember you the next day. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And I'm sure you realize that over time.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
And that's one of the things that's hard about putting out albums nowadays is 10, 15, 20 years ago. People had CD collections.
Right.
I think everybody might still have a CD collection, but it went from this to this.
Yeah, yeah.
You know? I think what was very
and you're not even popping it in. It's just a relic to keep.
Mm-hmm. I think what was very interesting about Five is when he first started doing his merchandise, he was giving people bracelets. And it was something that was very unique and it was very inexpensive. You know what I'm saying? Where it was like you get his logo, you get his name, had a little bedazzlement to it, you know what I mean? And I felt like, with people who are going to shows, you're paying for drinks, of course, but you're paying for the show price. And, when it comes down to merch, you probably only got a couple dollars, you know what I'm saying? So it was real dope to see him be like, come buy this $2, $3, $5 or $5 bracelet from me. You know what I'm saying? Go home with this. Where it was like versus somebody with a $30 shirt. So it was like, you know what I mean?
Having different tiers.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I think that was dope. You know what I'm saying? Especially when what was that? Hi-Fi was in session. I mean, Hi-Fi was happening.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. He was doing the bracelets
Sessions.
and stuff like that.
Yep.
Yeah. So and shout out.
This is how well connected my friends here are. They just keep shouting people out. every 2 minutes.
22nd Hell. 22nd Hell came through with those bracelets, and I just picked the designs, but he made them all. So shout out to them. Yeah. So I still have those bracelets. So I almost forgot about that.
Shout out. That's nice.
Dope. Yeah. So just and I'm definitely for understanding, wanting to give something, but in my head it's like, how do I do it in a different kind of way? So I'm still racking my brain on how to do that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, and then when you go, I heard a DJ Shadow clip. He was talking about basically when people are digging through crates of vinyl at a record store, they are digging through a bunch of broken dreams usually. It's usually, artists who was able to get an album or two with the deal, never popped off on anything big, and now they're in the 49-cent bin, And that's when I can't help as an artist to think if I'm pressing up like 1,000 copies of my CD, I am just polluting.
Just polluting.
And that's, but it's beautiful to overcome that and have the confidence to recognize that you're putting out something of value, even if you worry about whatever the impact of it is.
Yeah.
Because the problem with confidence in that vein, of not having enough confidence to do what you're trying to do, Marcus, as actually someone who rocks a mic like fucking champ, is the people who suck have plenty of confidence. I'm not trying to be a hater, because in our community, I'm not saying people suck in our community at all. I'm saying that there's a lot of people that have this incredible audacity to just push everything out there on every channel and every platform that they can, but the craft isn't where you want it to be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because the attention feels the same.
For sure.
You're going to get the attention, and it's like...
but on the opposite side of that, they inspire me. I was like, damn, they doing it. Hold on, man. This
Yeah.
video ain't that bad. Let me go and push this. You know what I'm saying? So,
What do I have in the drafts that I post? Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And Treylon, I know that you were at LCC, actually leading up the BSA, the Black Student Alliance, right? Was that right?
Black Student Union.
Union, sorry,
Yeah,
BSU. Sorry.
Yeah. So when I started at LCC in 2018, I really didn't find like, a home there. People I could hang out with. A place where I felt comfortable to go in and study and stuff like that. Like, the library is one thing, but somewhere else, you know what I'm saying? That's real confined. But a good friend of mine, Jeremy Thomas, was going to LCC at the time, and he was working with the Black Student Union, and he was just like, hey man, you should come check it out. We'll have a meeting, and that's where I kind of found myself with a lot of other Black people, and learning more about the different cultures that was on campus and stuff like that. And it helped me, while I was going to school, because again, LCC is 98% white, but I'm
how much?
98%.
Wow.
I believe it, but yeah.
Yeah, so it's a PWI, predominantly white institution.
Yes,
so,
it is.
Just
I mean, it's named after one of the most prominent pro-slavery.
Right.
Joseph Lane was
Lane, right.
was one of the most prominent Oregon politicians in the 19th century, and his whole claim to fame was he was the vice presidential candidate on a fully pro-segregation, pro-slavery platform.
That's not to take away from the international background that they have on the campus. Like, they have a big background of international students.
I love you walk in, you see the flags.
For sure. So, but I want to see some of my people too, and my culture too, So being a part of the Black Student Union helped with that, because it was like, we got people who are going to school, trying to get their degrees, but also we have this space where we can all communicate and get to know each other and know about things in the community, what you're doing in the community, what you're looking to do when you get out of school and stuff like that. Yeah. And man, I worked myself up from being a secretary to the president of the organization.
Well, thank you for your service. Honestly, man. I mean, my career trajectory that I want to do is finish up my master's, which is in leadership and higher ed.
That's dope.
And then get a doctor of ed degree, which would take me about 3 years extra to go into student affairs work on campuses. And because, what you provided there was a massive, massive reservoir of value for not only those Black students, but for the whole community, man.
For sure.
One thing that I've seen in my time working with college students in the past as like an RA and stuff like that is, 18 to 22-year-olds, they have a lot of the same needs as 7, 8, 9-year-olds. You take their building blocks away, they might cry. Mean, like we're all still very young at that point, and they need those supportive networks. And often I would say too, you're talking about like, what do you want to do after you get your degree or whatever? There's just a myopic, and the academia of it like forces you to have a myopic view of like, well, I got A's on all my classes, so I'm succeeding in life, right? Right. And like, I got this, and that's going to get me this degree, and then I might go to this school, so that means I'm doing what I need to be doing, right? But the deeper consciousness of what you're doing as a participant in the world is way more than what's on your transcript and all that shit. So
you know how they tell you, like, you find your best friends in college, like those lifelong friends in college. And you don't want to miss those moments where you can meet those people where they can be your friends forever. You know what I'm saying? And especially going to, I'm just saying in Eugene, if you're a person that comes from a cultural background and going to a school like Lane or U of O, you want those friends, or you want those people around you that you can communicate with, you know what I'm saying, vibe with. Yeah.
And then we are doing this on June 16th. On Sunday is going to be Juneteenth.
Yeah, Juneteenth coming up.
Shout out Celeste Fuller, Drea Smith.
Yeah, really, and we got Father's Day coming with it too. You know what I'm saying? Same day. You know what I'm saying?
Happy Father's Day to
that's pretty cool.
all you fathers out there, and you as well, Trey.
Appreciate you.
Especially a lot of Black fathers holding it down.
Yeah, man. Gotta hold it down, man. Gotta hold it down.
Honestly, I think we might have talked a little bit earlier about media, maybe even before we started rolling, but the media just would have you believe that black fathership is not a thing.
For sure.
Black fatherhood is not a thing. Not to say that the community is not allowed to speak on the issues that the community sees within itself and try to hold individuals accountable to be responsible parents and all that.
Right.
But it's fucked up, man. Like, there's self-fulfilling prophecy. If you're I have to imagine if you're a young African American in this country, you are not being told that, that's part of your role. You're told to go spit flows or hoop it up or go to jail. And that's what and we've thought about what representation means in the media, but it's still an iceberg pace. You know what I mean? I'd say. Just because Black Panther came out, everyone always wants to point to one or two successful movies with a diverse cast and act like the other 95% isn't still projecting the same bullshit.
Right, the narrative, right?
Yeah.
So what are you guys excited about with Juneteenth?
I'm trying to. First of all, I'm back in Eugene. I haven't been here in a couple months, so just to see the community that I've grown to love since I've been here, I'm super excited to see everybody. And on top of that, just to celebrate. It's a black celebration, and it's good. It's always just good vibes. It's all around. I'm just excited about and to perform. It's an honor. And I'm honored that I do get called back for this event because it's an honor to be there and it's a pleasure to bring my energy, what I could do. So, excited.
What time are you performing on Sunday? Because this is probably going to come out Saturday.
Oh yeah,
Saturday.
Shout out.
I think so.
Oh yeah, shout out Sage Crow the Flock. We're doing a collaborative project at 2:20.
Shout out.
Yes, sir. And I'm doing a solo set with New Intel at 5 p.m.
Beautiful.
That's
awesome.
dope.
Alton Baker Park.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And one thing I appreciate too about it is obviously it commemorates the emancipation of slavery and them finding out, I think, in Texas in 1865, I believe. But this is not solely a historical academic exercise to observe Juneteenth. It's about the culture too. It's really explicitly about black culture. And so that's why I feel like somebody coming into it who doesn't know all of the history of every different marginalized group in the country, fuck that. Who cares? I mean, not who cares, but come learn and come be part of the present day community.
Yeah, learn about it.
And same thing. I know a lot about black culture, but and that's American black culture. You know what I'm saying? So I'm still learning. So, but then the same, there's other ethnicities that I'm still trying to. I really don't know that much about, but I'm in the process of learning that too. So it goes both. I'm not just focused on black culture, black history. I do look outside of that and want to understand it and learn about different ethnicities and cultures too.
When I was living in Minnesota, because I'm half Japanese, I know a little bit of my own Japanese history and a little bit of Chinese American history, and because Asian Americans have a little bit of Asians in general, notably, are beefing a lot of the time with each other. But in America, there's the common struggle that can kind of forge those bonds within Asian Americans.
For sure.
But one thing I had yet to really learn about, besides from the movie Gran Torino, was the Hmong people, HMONG.
Right.
A lot of Hmong people in Minnesota, and this is a people that are displaced on a nation level. They don't have a homeland country anymore, and so that's like almost not nomadic because they're not really moving, but not that home, basically what I said, not having that homeland.
Right.
So I was really appreciative of learning about, and there's I'm gonna butcher it, but there's not many last names in the Hmong community. Everybody has one of about 15 or 20 last names. Lor, Lor is one of them. A bunch of them. So I love that opportunity, and I hope people have that opportunity. I know that Dr. Lake is speaking. He always puts it down. I always learn 10 things from here. Listen to him for 10 minutes.
Yeah, man.
So Dr. Johnny Lake is hopefully going to be on a guest very soon as well. Hell yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, man. Juneteenth.
Yeah, and then you talked, Marcus, about. Marcus is M5, which is 5. I don't know what to call him. Vibe.
They call me 5. Go by 5. 5.
I like it.
Yeah.
I also know about you that you have a history, I think, in the U.S. Army.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I was in the military.
Get into travel. Okay. And did you do some traveling from that? Did that, Tell me about that experience in general, but like as a black man in the U.S. Army, you know, what was that kind of like for you?
Yeah, I mean, that's a whole nother podcast because that's a
Yeah,
long
right?
story. But it was interesting because I grew up right outside of a military base. So when I went to school, it just mixed. I mean, I said majority black. It was a good mix of black and white folks, and then it was a good mix of every other ethnicity. Just because, like, you know, people from the military, they come from all over. So I grew up in that environment. That's what I thought. Honestly, you know, that's what you think. I thought the whole world was like this. Whole America was like this. I was like, in my head, there's no way that some areas are predominantly black or predominantly white. Like, I didn't know that because I grew up in such a mixed culture.
Right.
And then when I left and I joined the military, that's when I opened my eyes. Cause I ran into this one white dude and we were talking. He's like, man, I never met a black guy in person. I'm like, I thought he was lying. You know what I'm saying? I thought he was lying.
He went through a culture shock right there.
No. Yeah, I didn't believe him. But then as I got older and I started understanding the world a little bit more after traveling, I'm like, oh shit, you know, like there are places like that. You know, I didn't know at that young of an age.
Right,
You know,
over
so-
here in Springfield, there's probably people growing up that have never had a conversation with a black person.
And that's, to me, like it's sad to be
and in
honest with you,
Eugene, I'm not
because
trying to just say
No,
Springfield.
yeah, talk about it.
And it's sad, but maybe it's not even that fault. Maybe it's unfortunate that, like, even growing up, they don't just have access to be around different cultures. And I learned, I didn't know how valuable that was growing up, like doing that. And then on top of that, traveling with the military, like I was in Germany. You know, of course, I was in the Middle East, and I was in Europe. I was in Asia, and actually to be in those cultures and live there for years, like that taught me so much at such a young age. To where, like, I came back to the States, and I'm like it kind of like it felt like your brain split. And he's like, oh man, like what is going on in America? Like, once you leave, you have to leave and get away from. You know, you're in a relationship, right? Your friends are saying, like, man, like, this is toxic, I didn't get out, but you can't see it. Once you get out of it, you look back, it's like, man, they were right. You know, I feel like that's a lot of people's relationship with America. Like, they're in it, they can't see it until they leave. Once they leave and they experience something else and come back, bro, my eyes were open like that, bro. I couldn't even, I felt like I was going crazy. I still feel like I'm going crazy.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So,
That's interesting.
yeah, it opens your minds up so much, and as being a black male, like, I feel like that opportunity is just not naturally given to us, or open to us. So the military did open that. I didn't have any money for school. You know what I'm saying? I have no access to anything, but like the military gave me that. You know what I'm saying? With the cost at the same time.
Of course.
You know, so.
I'm glad you didn't pay the ultimate price.
Yeah, and
You gotta
RIP,
put your life on the line.
yeah, RIP to my brothers and sisters that did, you know. So, but that in itself is, you know, like, even times when I want to give up, like, I think about them, it's like, man, they didn't make it back. They didn't get to come out of that situation and look back at it and reflect, like, man, like, what did we really do this for? You know what I'm saying? What not?
Yeah.
They didn't have that chance to live life after the military. So, like, sometimes I think about that. It's like, man, I'm doing this for them. Like, when I do music and I'm on stage, I'm like, man, I'm alive, and I get to share my vibrations with other people. And I think about them sometimes, you know, and I'm I'm here, like, and I want to give that because they're not able to do that. You know? So
I wonder to what extent you've been able to network with or converse with other vets, like, after your service, because I feel like it might be more of an isolated situation for a lot of people.
It is, especially, like, say, Eugene, there's not there's vets here, of course, but I don't feel like there's a huge community, like, say, if you're, like, living right outside of
I
a
don't
base.
think we have a VFW, you know, like,
I'm not quite sure.
maybe we do.
But I mean, it is traumatizing. Sometimes I don't want to think about it. Sometimes, like, it's hard to. But I do have, my vet friends, and, you know, we talk about all of it. You know, we kind of have to make jokes about it sometimes because, like, that's all you really can do if you're not crying about it.
Right.
You know, so it's a lot to unpack, unravel, but it's a slow process.
A lot of layers to it.
Thank you for your service.
Oh man, thank you.
Yeah,
I
man,
appreciate
absolutely.
it.
Every we have a lot of people who I love who are peace activists around here, and I am too, you know. But you know, something to be said about having warriors in your community, warriors who are willing to fight. You know, man, I don't know where to go with that, but
We can lighten it up.
can we? Because I actually have. Okay, this is could be lighter, because I talk to a lot of people that are running for office, like in the political world.
Okay.
And some that are already holding office, and I always make sure to ask them about music. But I also, when I have people that are more from the music community, I want to know kind of their views on politics. So usually it comes out somewhat organically. I don't have to ask them a direct question. With the politics people, I always have to ask them, okay, you got to give me what artists you love, and you got to give me proper nouns. Don't just say I like jazz. You tell me what, who, tell
Dizzy, me what, who,
Dizzy,
right.
Gillespie,
right. Give me some substance, man.
Coltrane,
give me some
Miles,
substance.
exactly.
Right.
But who would you guys want to be president, man? Like, because we're sitting here with this weak ass president, and we're sitting here, and every president of the country has done atrocious things,
man.
So, but I want you to dream big. That's why it doesn't have to be. It can be light, like, because you could say
Kanye West.
Hey, man, y'all need to go vote for Pedro.
Writing them in.
I think Pedro got us, man. Hey, go vote for Pedro. I think he's the best candidate right now. For everybody out there, go vote for Pedro next term, because I'm telling you, he got all of us.
He got that nice bicycle.
Yeah, I'm saying.
He's doing the ramps.
Hey, y'all heard it here. Vote for Pedro.
Hey, okay, funny to think about that, because I got the head of state video, which I didn't know. I didn't know what it was going to come to be, but sometimes I think, I just think about funny stuff in my head, and I was like, what if I run for president 20 years from now, and then like the whole world's different, so like they want a hip hop artist as a predecessor, and it's like, hey, you did that video, man, you want to run for president? I'm like, yeah, man, sure, why not, man? I'm pretty sure like all you need is a smart team around you. The president don't make he makes decisions, but he don't make all the decisions.
Right.
As long as there's a smart team around them, you're good. But he's just the face.
You're the one picking that team.
I know, and that's the thing. Exactly.
Right. And if you're just giving your homies favors,
if you got a whole team of scammers,
it's
gonna look.
That's why America will be like, damn, man, everybody's scamming in America. Why? Look at our politics. They're showing us what to do.
And I feel right now that's just basically what it is. If you team red in the House, that's what we've seen on policies. Yeah. If you team blue, then you're gonna see a lot of blue policies. It's just really what team is in office, and that's really what signifies the years to come. Every election, whoever's in that office is what's gonna dictate what's gonna be here for the next 4, right?
Who would you want to see, though? Because even if you had the cool thing about the presidency, you could have a
total
renegade. You did say Pedro. You're right. You could have a total renegade who could just veto everything Congress does unless has a super majority support. So you could have interesting figures. Like, for example, I actually went a year ago or so, kind of in some Facebook comments defending The Rock, because some people who are liberal minded are like, oh my gosh, we can't just follow what the other side did and just elect somebody who has no experience. And it's like, I think that there's a few things that are not understood well about that job. It's a fucking weird, crazy job. I've been listening to biographies of U.S. presidents, and it's fucking fascinating.
I bet.
A lot of them had bullets in them until their death. Like in the early, a lot of them had bullets lodged in their body somewhere from assassination attempts and still kept going. Like, it's a crazy job. Basically where I'm coming from with that is like The Rock actually, I genuinely think he does some of the things that those really like nerdy, like Washington-minded legislative minds, senators and congressmen, they're not very good at being inspiring. They're not very good at going out and looking like normal people in the world, and ultimately, like the morale of the nation is there's something to be said about the role that a president plays in that. And then also, I think he would study up. I think he would put people around him that have done the work just as much as a lot of other presidents would put people around them that have done the work. Really? So again, I'm not endorsing, but I wouldn't rule out and understand that, okay, somebody like that could maybe take some of those votes from the middle. And then if you got enough of those votes from the middle, you actually have a block of people that are voting, and they're voting down ballot. And you might be able to create a movement of change, because these same old politician people are only going to get the people that are rigidly on their team, and then it's just a war back and forth. It's the president comes in and tries to their whole campaign is, I'm going to undo everything the previous guy did. We're not getting anywhere. We're not getting anywhere with.
You're right. Yeah, you're right.
21st century issues. We're not fucking handling climate change. We're not understanding how to best understand and regulate technology and people's data privacy and cybersecurity because we have 80-year-olds making our laws. And I'm no shade. I love y'all in the greatest generation and the boomers, but I don't know. You could tell that I was like, oh, I'm gonna get these people's views on politics. Then I just rant at you. So
no, that's real though. That's real.
It's interesting. You know, politics is an interesting topic.
Yeah.
It's
a gang members in suits.
Come on, dog.
You know, so like, it just looked different.
You know, the way I look at them, man. You know, politics have done a lot to my culture, my race. You know what I'm saying? A lot of brothers and sisters. So, you know, how I look at it, I think y'all just need to let the people decide, because ain't that what it say? It's for the people. So let us decide. You know what I'm saying? Because what y'all doing right now ain't for us right now. Like you said, 80-year-old folks, look, ain't nothing against y'all, but look, man, you ain't living what we living right now. That's, you know, it's people on the ground floor
won't live
right
with
now.
the consequences.
You know what I'm saying? You know, so again, I don't know what that looks like, because again, I'm not the president, you know what I'm saying, and I'm not saying I should be the president, but I know I think you are. Vote for Pedro. But anyway, I really do think like we should start coming down to some type of reasoning where it's for the people. Like, go back to the people, bring it back to the people, because I mean, we the ones that's ultimately gonna have to endure it at the end of the day.
Right.
And we live every day in this.
And this is something I thought about too. So I thought about this idea of United Countries of America, just for the fact that, you know, America is so big. You go to the West, the culture is different from the South. You know what I'm saying? But you got these laws affecting both cultures,
right?
You know, and then, you know, you got the Northeast and you know, and California, the Southwest area. And it's so big, like, so to really, how are you going to please? And the thing is not to please everybody, but at the same time, look at Europe. Like, Europe has Germany, Italy, you know, and they have their own. I didn't have their own. No, they're on the euro, but just different laws, different countries, different laws, different. You know, just, you know, the South got a different dialect than the Pacific Northwest. You know what I'm saying? It's almost just like, you know, Italy, from Italy to. I mean, it's, of course, different languages, but like. But I was like, America is so big. Like, how do you run a place this big? Like, you might just have to chop it up, just like they do it overseas.
Historically, property territories that are geographically large are very difficult to govern without authoritarian rule. That's how you get Russian authoritarianism. That's how you get Chinese authoritarianism. Very hard to govern in a democratic way a large territory, especially without the communication technology they had in the past. But you're totally right, man. People are living very different experiences,
for sure,
all around the country. What you're kind of asking for effectively is pretty tough, which is, hey, federal government, like, maybe relinquish some of your power to the states, or to the regions or the states, or create something.
Literally.
And they don't do it. They don't relinquish power.
They strong arming right now.
But actually the funny part is, though, because their boss shit, they got their boss status mentality as the U.S., right? And the beautiful thing you mentioned about Europe, actually they want to do the opposite. You're going to hear more stuff about USE. They want to make United States of Europe. You know, they want to make the EU, the European Union, into an actual country where it would be similar to what we do, because they want to compete economically and everything. You know, it's fucking interesting.
But when you want to break that down too, I looked at when I moved to this community, I see how this community moved, and when you look at communities, like, honestly, if your city, if your community is tight knit, you can't do what you want, but then again, you can. Like, say, like, the whole weed thing, like, you know, it's still, I think they're decriminalizing in a lot more places now, but like when I moved to the West, it was still illegal in the South.
It's,
you know,
weird, because the states are kind of acting as renegades on that, because the federal government's still saying it's a Schedule 1, you know, so a federally funded program, anything like that, you can't have.
But that just lets me know right there, like, okay, if the state still did it, like, so why can't we do other things? Like, if this community wants, like, this community or this state legalized, decriminalize all drugs.
Yeah.
You know, so like, it's one of those things where if that community wants
did
it.
Did the sky fall? Did we fucking
man? That's interesting, man. Oregon is interesting, man.
Yeah,
it's an interesting place, man.
Very
like how you said before, you know, what's happening here is not happening around around the rest of the United States of America. So
some people will never leave the bubble.
I know.
It's actually funny. You were talking about meeting people through your Army experience, you're like, let's lighten up. I'm like, let's go back. But just people who had never interacted with black people before. And for me, growing up here, I had a similar experience where I traveled in this academic program to New Jersey and met on the Princeton campus with like 59 other like low income people of color, basically. There was one white dude and I'm half white, so it was like 1.5 white people out of 60. For the most part, very diverse, you know, and so I just never had been around communities of black people. I knew like a black family or two here in Eugene, and I'll tell you what, it was a 7-week program. Shout out to Lita Scholars, and it was serious, amazing bonds that were formed. This is going into senior year of high school, so I was like 17, and I had loved hip hop ever since 5th grade. Loved it. Found it way more interesting than the rock music that I grew up with in general, you know, and because of the storytelling. And but I kind of believed I can't contribute to this. I can't contribute to this because look at me. And I think there's something to be said about being self-aware. But what happened was actually meeting these communities of black people, and then we would entertain each other after hours. You know, we would do all sorts of shit, you know, dancing, and you get like salsa dancing with a lot of the Latinx population, and it was fucking great. And somehow it came out that people were talking about the "Look at Me Now" Busta Rhymes verse because that was hot at the time. And people didn't know I could do it, you know?
You could do it?
Let's go. Because I'm feeling like I'm running and I'm feeling like I got to get away. But I know that I don't and I won't ever stop because you know I got to win every day. See, they really want to pop me. Just, I could do it, you know?
Right.
And
you got that. You got that. That's dope. That was dope.
Japanese people talk fast.
Yeah, man.
It's in my blood. So I did it and everyone went nuts. And I did it with this kid, Demetrius, who was a beautiful, gangly, lanky black kid from Detroit, and we fucking got along so well. After that, we started having more rap battles. And I just came home, and I was like, yeah, no, we got to do hip hop out here, you know, like people need to know, you know. So I just massively changed my whole mentality of confidence and thinking I could actually contribute. And I'm trying to get back into it now more because life gets in the way sometimes. So
yeah, man, hip hop is an expression, bro. Yeah, man, I love hip hop. Hip hop is an expression, bro. And it's like, you know, once hip hop gravitates to you, and you ain't no letting go, man. You know what I mean? And it hits you. It hits you hard, and you know, from any angle, dancing, like you said, storytelling. You know what I'm saying? Hip hop is everything, man. And we do it every day in our lives, and that's the beautiful thing about it. It's like anything could be hip hop. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
It's just you got to look at it like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it wasn't just rapping at first.
Nah.
It was the five pillars of hip hop.
Yes, sir.
So that's what's
graffiti and the dancing.
Yes,
and
the arts
and the DJing and the arts and
All
the
of
knowledge.
that. Yes,
knowledge
man.
is part of
And
it.
that's what's beautiful about music is like I said, people who might resonate with this one artist, they don't know each other, and they come to this one spot, and then it brings people together. You know, and that's why I love about the aspect. And I, honestly, just being in the military and then going to the arts, completely opposite spectrum. I feel like it's almost like destruction. You know what I'm saying? Then you got creation, but then without destruction, you wouldn't have creation. So it's almost like this weird kind of cyclic thing that happens. And one of the things I did notice too, like when we're deployed, you know, and like you said, like some people you know because of what you look like. Say I'm black. Some people just don't like you. You know what I'm saying? But because we were deployed, we were stuck on this base for a year
together.
And then on top of that, we had a common, I wouldn't say enemy, man, because honestly, like, I don't look at them as my enemy. You know what I'm saying? But
I'm sure you were pressured to.
yeah, oh yeah, of course. It's a brainwashing.
For
you know,
sure.
it's a brainwashing, and they do that in the media every day. But I realized after coming back, there's so many friendships that were made because like we had to get to know each other, and then you start realizing like how many things you have in common. So you had to be around this person, even though you like them. You had to be around them, and then after you start sharing stories and you start opening up, you start seeing like, oh shit, we ain't too different. And then coming out of that, so it's war destructive, and it was really sad to be in that environment, to see it, to participate in it, but at the same time, I saw what that could do on the opposite realm too. Like it brought, you know, you had a common goal. You wanted to get home, and it made people want to survive, and because of that, get to know each other enough to care about each other to want to come home all
I'm
together.
gonna get you home. We're gonna get home together. We here together. We gonna get home together.
Yeah, so like that's when I started thinking about music, man. Music's the same way. It's just in a different realm.
For sure.
You know, so
because all types of people come around, and that's where you see today, like, you know what I mean? Hip hop has expanded to so many different, you know what I mean? Just subjects.
genre.
Yeah,
Screamo hip hop now. They got
Man,
everything,
it's branched off, man, and that's the beautiful thing about it, man. It's everybody got a little hip hop in them, man. Even them people that's up there at the top, they'll be like, man, I don't like listening to that bull stuff. Turn that bull stuff off, Jimmy. Nah, you like that high stepping. You know what I'm saying?
You put on that right beat, you see that tap in that shoe.
You see that tap in his leg, like, Hey, Jimmy, turn that up a little bit. All right, yeah, all right.
This is great. I need to have duos on the podcast more. This is fucking good. I just let it ride. Dude. Honestly, though, with hip-hop, too, is you seeing an increasing understanding of it in the scholarly world of like, oh, Kendrick can have a Pulitzer, and it's like, yeah, that's not that revolutionary for that. Damn is the one that got him the Pulitzer. It wasn't even To Pimp a Butterfly.
Yeah. Right.
I can think of 500 albums that are more like literarily like credentialed and credible than Damn. And Damn is my favorite Kendrick album actually. But because they kind of like the Pulitzer people were probably looking at themselves like, you know what? We might have fucked up a few times by not considering this community before. And so I like seeing that it's more like included in school English courses and stuff like that at every levels. And that does make me want to talk to you guys about, I think we probably had three individual human beings, we've had 3 different experiences with the American schooling system. American schooling system being the context under which people learn about just about everything beyond their world, and then also learn about who they are in a social setting from the most developmental of ages. And I have to just imagine that you guys' experiences were different than mine in a lot of ways, like not just from being black. Like I had this experience where just like teachers just trusted me. They could step out of the classroom and have me lead the classroom. You know what I mean? Like they very much like let me off easy,
right?
Which some would say it's because I knew the shit, so I earned it. But it wasn't really that I earned it. It just happened that my dad was really a guy who instilled a lot of that stuff, and he bought us books and stuff like that. So, whereas I could see truly the inequality, schools being a place where inequality is like introduced to children as the norm, and you have to accept it, and that's fucked, man. So I could see other people who are just as insert X here, smart, capable, talented, charming, outgoing. For them, it wouldn't be, oh, he's just a little bit talkative in class. It's, no, we send you to the principal's office.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We call that the school to prison pipeline.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's very real how it
paddle
sets up.
Yeah, for sure.
They predict prison populations based on the kindergarten test scores. And
generational.
So I just want to hear you guys' experiences. We don't have to spend as much more time on it than you want. We could hit so many topics. It's been an hour right now. So
experiences in school?
Yeah, I'm curious about what you wish could have been different, or what what it was like.
History was, of course. I think I learned more on YouTube about real history. Like, and granted, like, no, people are like, I fact check. It's not like I just see something and believe it. I do actually do research, you know. So just understanding how much I did not know, and certain things that I was like, man, this actually should have been in the school. Like, I don't know why. Granted, you can only stack so much, you know, throughout. I mean, there's so much information. This history has been longer than we've been alive, of course. So, but some of the stuff, like, man, I really wish they taught real history in school, because I love history. That was one of my favorite subjects in school, because I'm like, man, like, just to know like everything in the past, and I'm here. You know what I'm saying? If any one thing would have been different for one of my ancestors, I would not be here. You know what I'm saying? So just understanding that everything happened in the past and I'm here. I think that's like, just to really understand the path, to know where you're going, but understanding the true history.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Get back on track, you know. So
factor.
I almost was a history teacher, and I probably will be a professor and stuff where I probably will teach people who will become history teachers, but not really directly in the history stuff itself. The fascinating thing, I feel like I'm going to try to shorten my little monologue here because I don't want to talk over you guys. But what you're telling me is there's a term used sometimes among like history teachers called coverage fetishism, where there's so much fetishism around the idea of covering everything. Cover everything, right? So you have, but the calendar doesn't allow it. So you have just like rush through the Mexican-American War in a day. And then all these important War of 1812 in a day. A fucking, Stonewall LGBT riots in a half a lesson, For
sure.
And so you covered everything, but you didn't, no one's going to remember it because you just did the bare minimum on each topic. Whereas it's more the progressive-minded educational spirit is not coverage fetishism, and instead is critical thinking. So yes, you might not be able to hit every topic, but there's probably some of these topics we don't really need. And instead, go deeper into certain of them and have kids do a project, have them go out and interview a veteran, really be invested in it because that's what you remember later. And then you can take that critical thinking skill, go to college, and then you'll learn everything about the specific, whether it's African American history, Asian history, then you can go deep. But we don't need to fucking try to hit every little thing, especially because most of what stays in that coverage fetishism zone is just, of course we couldn't take out, I don't know, William Shakespeare from the big, but we should have more diverse authors and we should have more diverse voices, but none of that can get in because they tokenize it and have like 1 month out of the year, one book out of the whole unit where, because it's like, well, we can't take out The Tempest. Yes, you can fucking take out The Tempest. You can take out Othello.
That's real.
Yeah, so
that's real.
But I don't mean to just like get too hyper specific on that. I just wanted an open topic on education and what you guys experienced.
Going back to that school to prison pipeline, in my community in Las Vegas. That's what it was, and kind of going back to what you were saying, Thomas, like, either you're going to be a ball player or a rapper, something like that, and the majority of my time, from middle school to high school, that's what it was. I was playing basketball, trying to, get to the NBA, because really it was like the teachers were like babysitters, you know what I'm saying? They really wasn't assisting us, if you was a student that knew about what you wanted to do when you got out of high school, that's different because your parents were, gaming you up and everything like that. But for an average student that was just going every day, it was like they didn't really want to, take it a step further. They didn't really want you to even have the critical thinking skills to even be like, hey, when you go outside of this school and this dude come up on you and tell you where you from, this is how you should address him. You know what I'm saying? Instead, we learning about William Shakespeare, and what the Bernstein Bears.
Half of that shit you learn about him isn't even true either. Also, it's just fucking we think that he was this, and
like literally, like you just babysitting
fictional bears instead of real shit that affects you.
Like George Washington, he owned slaves, but. This is everything else that he did.
Let's
focus on all this stuff.
The real
Jefferson
stuff was going
really bad.
on.
Jefferson trafficked over 600 enslaved people in his life.
But we're just learning about all the other stuff that he did other than that. Like, we'll touch on that, and then they just
for real,
it's crazy.
For real. But the real stuff that was going on outside those doors that's real life. You got students that didn't eat last night. You know what I'm saying? And they come into school trying to still learn and. Do all of these. These are not things that those teachers was looking at, in my community. They were more focused on just like get in and get out, push. You know what I'm saying? You come in here, you sit down, you take this paperwork. If you don't want to do it, you get an F. So what, dog? Right? Yeah. If you playing basketball, and that was the great thing about playing basketball because you're not playing unless you got your grades right. So it just made you have this mindset to want to go to school, to want to be more interactive, to talk to your teacher and be like, what is this? To have that critical thinking. Because if you're not playing. You're not getting the girls to come see you and wear the number on the cheek and everything. You know, you got
You're
your
at the
mom
home game and she's wearing your road jersey.
You know what I'm saying? That feels good. You know, you can't. You know, and that like when you're a kid, those types of things, that's dope. But it's like that's not it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Why aren't we implementing things in the school where it's like if you got somebody that's over here trying to be the chess champion of the world, like have things surrounding his education around that. If this kid says like, man, you know, I'm not really into the numbers game, but I like shooting dice and I know how to count my numbers up like that. Like put them, you know, you better have a gambling class or something. You know, I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying? It's kids nowadays, they shooting craps outside of the school system where man, I'm just trying to shoot dice right now. I ain't trying to really go to, you know, have something that's acclimated like, okay, let's put them up on in the Russian roulette. You know, have things acclimated to what real life things, right?
Yes.
What's going on in your community? What's going on in your community has to match the education that you're receiving. Yes. If we're going through poverty, why are you not telling me about stocks? Why are you not telling me about life insurance when I just seen my cousin pass away in the street the other day?
Doing taxes.
Yeah. You know, these are the things that we should start implementing in school because, you know, right now, you know, William Shakespeare can hold, bro. Real talk.
Dude.
We don't really need that right now. You know, what's Pythagorean theorem? Hey, I fuck with it. But we don't need you right now. What Newton's law? You hella dope.
Yes.
But his baby's out here dying right now, and I need you to really look at that.
That's the nuanced discussion we needed. He made it so simple and easy to understand. It's not fuck those things. It's like, okay, but what's the priority? And don't get rid of that, but what's the priority?
Yeah.
Johnny Lake, who we talked about, he posted 12 hours ago, teacher advice. Don't say equity unless you understand and practice its meaning. It's not a biscuit for each child. Equity is not equal. It means we meet each child where they are and provide what they need to learn and grow. Now this man, people want to act like equity is like this brand new thing and this brand new word and topic, and fuck that, dude. We were in a group. Yeah. Oh shit. Oh, and it's Pride Month, so everybody's got rainbow profile pictures. That means that they're fucking fighting the systems of oppression. He actually would do this cool thing called EYES, EYES, Equity Youth Educators. Right. This is in like 2011. I'm with him on this, so this is a while back. Right, and he would do it once a week at Churchill, at North Eugene, and I think at one other high school, maybe Sheldon, and just convening these groups of people. And it was always over food because he always believed that food is a way that connects people, draws people in, have real conversations around it. And we would talk about how to make the community better. And he would take us, and it was mostly Latinas. It was me and like 4 Latinas that were like kind of the stronghold of coming to these meetings every week. And we would, he would take us to the College of Education at UO and have us present our experiences to these people that are becoming educators, you know. And so I just really appreciate, you know, people who are visionary, and I believe that he is the reason that Bushnell University is called Bushnell and not NCU, because they did him really dirty and had that negative press. Yeah, you're not along. You heard anything about that?
Yeah, I heard a lot about that.
I 100% believe that's the main reason they had to change their name.
I'm going to hold my comments for another time. But I heard a lot about that school right there.
Well, he filed a complaint about racist treatment from several powerful people at that institution. And that became news. And it was... He did it on some fake ass bullshit? No, he brought the receipts. So I don't know the super details either. I really don't. Did
you see that the viral video going around with the kids playing basketball? They're on the cotton pickers team.
No,
have you seen it?
I have seen it.
Because at first I didn't know what people were talking about. What are they looking at? I was like, no way.
I seen the comment. The comment said, what the comment said. He said, what if that's their neighborhood? That's their origin. I looked at the comment. I was like, ooh wee.
Somebody said it's history. I'm like, no,
they was like, again. That's their origin. That's the.
Whoa,
that's what they represent.
You got these kids.
We're gonna have the Koreatown Chinks now. Is that gonna be a mascot? Some things you don't make it to the fucking mascot.
The logo was literally the cotton. I was just like, whoa.
Black kids playing on the team,
and it was it was, you know. So again, you know, we got to change the way that we treating these babies, because really these are the people that's ultimately going to lead the world after us. Yeah. If we put these negative impressions on these kids, what is that going to look like for our place? This is our place of residence for everybody, every human being right now. This is our place of habitance. And for us as Americans, we got to look at that. Like, we raising these babies and we know the truth. If you know the truth, let that out.
You know what's crazy though too? High school athletics.
Yeah.
Sorry. So much racism, right? So like, and that's where these white privileged kids who go to these usually rich schools, like you see videos upon videos everywhere, right? Where a traveling team with more black students is coming out here balling, and everybody and they're chanting in the crowd, saying the most, monkey, all sorts of fuck, and it's everywhere, right? And that is where the administration doing nothing. And celebrating those students still and giving them whatever T-shirts and all sorts of shit is where they learn really, because you're from 14 to 18 when that's affirmed and you're okay and it's actually celebrated. That's when it. Good luck changing. It's better. It's easier to build strong men, right, than to rebuild broken men. So that's where it's. They're not going to change, and they're just going to learn how to hide it better.
Well, look, hey. Like with that protest, that protest did get us a little. It's just that one incident with George Floyd, that spun off this huge protest. Yep. That last. We're still.
Thank you for being so involved in Black Unity, man.
Oh yeah, shout out Black Unity too. And just seeing everything. I remember I was like, I saw all these things like started. Corporations started getting scared, and I remember I shared a story about the Redskins. I was like Redskins because I was just thinking about that for the longest time. I'm like, why they still? And I read stories about it. I'm like, yeah, people have done petitions to do it, but they said basically they're not changing history. They're not changing tradition. And then I posted a story as soon as I was like, Redskins, you're next. Next next week. I didn't spawn that whole thing, but of course. But it was funny. The next week I saw all the stories like watching Red Time. Yeah, but it took that. Yeah. It took that. And that's why I was like, and like you were saying, we know. Why won't you just do it?
Yeah.
They know.
Cleveland baseball, they used to have like a bunch of iterations of the most like caricaturized Native American fucking thing. Man. And so, but now it's called Cleveland Guardians. It's like, why is it called Guardians? Well, Cleveland has these bridges that they honor, these statues of people that have been significant in the city, and they call it the Guardians. That's beautiful. Do something like that. Right. People act like there's nothing else we could do. Oh, it's been that way. We can't make something better. Fuck that.
Yeah.
Fuck that. So, dude, it's been good. Sometimes it's good to let it be digestible because we could go for 2.5 hours, but it's gonna turn people off.
Oh yeah, and I gotta run.
Keep it digestible. Okay, what's one solution for something that you guys think is broken in society? That's the last question. So something that is broken in society in some way, and then a solution for it.
Communication is key.
That's what Cruiser said when I had him.
Yep.
Communication is fucked up right now.
Yep.
Dope.
Yep.
Communication.
Yep. How do we make it better?
Talk to each other and have the hard talks are hard talks. Nobody likes to have those talks. And like you look at your relationship, it's really hard to have hard talks with your partner. Your voices might come up, but then you got to take a deep breath and be like, oh, okay, cool. I was in the wrong. You was in the wrong. Okay, how do we move past this? You know what I'm saying? So it's one of those things to know how to communicate properly. It's not just communicating efficiently and communicating properly. So I think that's a solution step forward. You know what I'm saying? And we've been doing that, but maybe we're not doing it the right way all the time. So
it's a constant. You got to be constantly pushing in that direction because it's easy to fall back on.
For sure.
Easy, lazy.
For sure. Not everybody probably ain't gonna like this, but I think we should take away money and go back to the trading system.
Ooh, Federal Reserve, man. Ooh,
yeah, we gotta chop them down.
So much in there that we just accept.
Yeah,
we just accept. What is a Federal Reserve note? What is that?
I
put a bag of almonds in front of you. That'll sustain you. Can you eat a dollar bill? Can you eat a dollar bill? Can you?
I'm like, why are we putting so much energy behind this piece of paper? I think we need to go back to trading systems where it's like, if you got sugars and spices, I got tobacco and this. Hey. You know what I'm saying? And we're going to trade it out. That's probably far-fetched where it's like, man, we already passed that, right? But, we got to look at a different type of currency because this dollar bills, this money, it's not it, dog.
It's also designed on a scarcity model, like where, Like interest, for example. Like what's interest? It's just predatory. It's saying, okay, if there's 100 of something and the bank says we're going to loan out 100 of something, but we expect 110 back, there's only 100 of them. You're not going to get 110 back, so somebody's getting fucked.
Yeah.
That's built into the design.
Yeah.
So on a large scale, yeah, it's wild. Promos. We didn't talk about your music as much as I wish, dude.
Oh, no,
I've got to be honest.
No, I'm here to just to conversate.
Yeah, but do you have anything? You got this album that you did the album release show at Wildcraft, and I thought it was so cool, the space helmet and just the whole aesthetic around it.
Yeah.
And then you dropped the project a little after that, right?
Yeah, I dropped it a week afterward. It's M5 N5D Crash Landing. It's out now on all platforms. We got
I'll
a
put a
music
link
video.
in.
Oh, thank you. Got a music video coming out. Trey was actually in it.
Nice.
Made a cameo, but it's featuring Michael Leslie, Blakkamoore, Yahshuwa David. Collaborative track, and we're putting that video out hopefully in July.
Shout out Fresh Pack Studios.
Yes, Fresh Pack Studios shot that and directed it. So shout out to them too.
Yeah.
And got more music on the way.
Yeah.
Eventually, I think I'm really kind of taking it easy this year.
Okay.
Riverfront.
Yeah.
Riverfront. The Riverfront.
Oh yeah. So Juneteenth coming up, of course. June 19th, Sunday, on Baker Park. We got Sage Crow is actually doing Oregon Country Fair with Sage Crow.
Oh.
Friday and Saturday.
Wow.
Monkey Palace. And then I think Sage Crow, the Flock, is doing another show the week after. Don't get me wrong, could be Big Dirty, but I could be wrong, so I have to really kind of go back and check. And then Riverfront with me, New Intel, and then Munya is going on right after Munya. Check him out, Munya.
I'm playing that day, Saturday the 23rd.
Oh,
I
yeah,
think.
yeah.
Yeah, so
Oh,
I'll
yeah,
be
so,
the
yeah,
second
you could be
act.
out
So
there,
I'm
too.
12:15. So if you can vibe there, is an Ozo Motley finishing that night, I think. They're national band.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, I think so.
And the fucking night before is Hyro.
Yeah.
So Hyro's opening for us.
It's some big bands coming.
Hieroglyphics.
In town. Yeah,
That's crazy.
yeah.
And then do you have anything? But Marcus, while he's doing his promos, think about if there's any song you want me to fade the show out with.
Okay.
And then that song, honestly, it's probably already playing right now. You've already been hearing it, but it's a beautiful song. Go on.
Yeah. So big shout out to Lane Arts Council. They hired me to do the Block is Hot Artist Showcase. That's going to be at the East Park Blocks,
Nice.
right there where the Saturday market is usually at, in that area right there. We're going to have Cameron Day, Theo Soul Energy, Justice Bada.
Awesome.
APOC, we're going to have Lola Buckwall come down, Charlita Holmes, Soul Bless, DJ Smooth. We're going to have special guests coming with a mural. It's going to be a mural from students in Lane County in the 4J school district. There was a contest for the best painting or masterpiece.
Sure.
And I think there was a group of 4 students or 5 students, and they are the winners. So they'll have their murals at that event, and
Yes.
then we'll have Honey coming down with the MOK mural that they did as well. So that'll be all there for the visual aesthetics.
Awesome. I will drop you guys' social links in the description. Please holler at them, get at them, ask questions about how you can, if you got questions about these events, just build a relationship with these guys. They're both wonderful people. I have a feeling this isn't the last time that this triad is gonna do a podcast again.
Nah,
So,
man. I
this is too much
appreciate you
fun.
for having us on, man. For
and
real,
too much
man.
still to discuss.
Yeah, man.
Absolutely. So anytime you guys are trying to promote anything, I try to help in whatever way my little platform can.
So I got a really good one. Hopefully, since it's on here, so we can remember. If we have this again, not conversational, controversial.
Controversial opinion.
Controversial.
Okay.
Edit that out. No, don't give me. No,
Do you
I
want
don't
to
care.
tease
I
it?
don't care. Yes. Okay. So it has to do with hieroglyphics and emojis.
Okay.
Hold up. Well, we're gonna get into that next time.
Okay.
I like that. What
Okay.
song do you want us to play the pot out with?
We're going Cyclez of Lyfe featuring Michael Leslie, Blakkamoore, Yahshuwa David.
And yourself.
Yeah, of course.
Fuck yeah.
And 5-5, baby.
Thanks for sticking with us, y'all. Take
Broken
care.
class.
Peace.
It's about an hour 20.
That was fun.
Slipping and falling them up. Slipping and falling them down. Yeah. I'm slipping and falling, I come back. Yeah.
Yo, I'm slipping, I'm falling, I'm up. A vicious cycle. I'm thinking about giving it up. But suicidal. I'm open and spilling my guts. I ain't no idol. I got regrets I can't take back. Let it go, forget, don't give a shit. That's how I feel. I'm currently working on self. I made a deal that I would heal. If given a chance, that I would kill for. Winning the war, step outside and see my name on billboards. A pipe dream, yeah, I know, but a lot closer to my goals than I was before. Trying to find peace of mind, but my mind has been at war. Trying to sort through the chaos, but I found more. But I finally feel secure. Just some time to grow mature. If you feel I did you wrong, my intentions were as pure as they could be. Moving fast, vision getting blurry in a hurry. Catching up to where I should be.
As we moving through the cycles of life, I sit and I write, seek balance in the moment, dark in the light. Flow sublime, and navigate the rivers of time. Removing all the barriers to free up your mind. Yeah, true love, it never fades away. So we living in the now, not for tomorrow or yesterday. Higher forces are at play. So from the lighthouse of creation I shall never stray.
I put my all into this shit ever since I had to sacrifice again, or I repent. Tell me if I make it to your gates, would you let me in? They don't play fair on earth. Hold on, I need to vent, paying rent, a place to live. The price of life is going down, the world is getting worse. Or maybe we just see it now for what it is. A piece of colored paper make you rich. Gotta pay to learn at these overpriced colleges. It's gotten out of hand. The government won't acknowledge it. The public has been so tolerant, they're covering up a pile of shit. Can't find my patience, where the hell it went. That shit has got me bent. This shit has got me bent. I'm slipping, I'm falling, I come back. Preparing my soul for combat. Thinking I'm signing a contract. I'm lighting them up on contact. I kept a promise, the hardest one to keep. Will my message reach the masses? I guess we'll see.
As we moving through the cycles of life, I sit and I write, seek balance in the moment, dark in the light. Flow sublime, and navigate the rivers of time. Removing all the barriers to free up your mind. Yeah, true love, it never fades away. So we living in the now, not for tomorrow or yesterday. Higher forces are at play. So from the lighthouse of creation I shall never stray.
I never stop moving forward, man, step forward relentless. Live my life to the fullest, stay true blue to the realest. No negativity, me no want no bad news. Press play, turn it up loud and step to the groove. Audio therapy for help you burn out the blues. And in the ear if a good vibes you choose. Music is the remedy. Yeah, look, we elevate you with the melody. Yeah, look, we keep it moving with good energy. Yeah, look, we no have no time for no enemy. No, no, I'm around. No. Tell me what you gon' do when the vibes around. Good vibes. When good vibes around you. Tell me what you gon' do. Good vibes. Yeah. Good vibes. Yeah. The vibes around you. But what you gonna do? Good vibes around you. Yeah.